Oh yeah, what's going on, folks? Had a little time today. I'm down here by the river enjoying this beautiful scenery out here. This is wonderful. And it's actually so peaceful today because there's no one else out here and I rarely get to come down here, so I had to come down here. And I felt good today, so I wanted to do a lecture out here in nature. I'm not in my formal wear. It's not a formal day. I'm not doing business, but I'm having a good time out here and minding my business and keeping to myself because I like to do that and reflect to myself. And I wanted to do a lecture today on a few things, and really I'll phrase the main part of it because the main part of it is it's part of the behavior that I want you guys to really focus that you're doing, and that maybe you can stop because maybe you'll realize that it's not good thinking and that it's low level thinking, and once you get better, you can do better. All right, so what do I want to talk about today? You know, there's this thing about pseudo masculinity that I wanted to discuss, the aspects of pseudo masculinity. And a lot of folks out here, men and women, because over the last couple of weeks I've been at several social gatherings, and I've talked to a couple of different folks and stuff like that, and I've realized some things about how maybe some women may think in certain situations, or men. And it sparked that question in my mind about pseudo masculinity, people's idea of what a man should be. Okay, and I see this a lot because a lot of people have skewed, and they're not necessarily skewed because some of these people are really going by what they saw as examples in their life, and so that may be the standard of man for them. But where do we get this thing that because men dress very well and smell very well and are very successful, that they're somehow gay, or that their sexuality is questioned as far as the hetero understanding because they dress well? I see this a lot. I see a lot of guys do this and they don't realize that they themselves are displaying the very behavior that they're assigning to the men that they say that women do, because women gossip and women talk about other women. So if I step up in a place, and I use myself as an example, if I step up in a place, I'm not thinking about any of you. That's men or women. I'm there to do whatever I'm there to do. And if you want to comment on me, then maybe I look in such a way that that I welcome your comments, that you feel compelled to speak on me, right? So that exemplifies who I am. And maybe I'm great. And I'm not going to say I'm great and have an ego about it, but I'm just going to be funny like that, because if you're going to notice me, then should I be noticed? Should I notice myself? That's one thing to be said about self-confidence and self-esteem. But a lot of you people, you have this skewed understanding of what a man should be. Now I'll go right into some examples. I like doing movie examples because they're good. A lot of you folks look at movies. You don't read books. You don't do a lot of other things, but you do look at movies. And so maybe some of these references you can grab something from. But James Bond. Let me ask you guys a question. Any of you men out there, this question is for you. Do you think you could kick James Bond's ass? Based on what you've seen James Bond do over all your life, over the different movies and the character, based on that character, do you think that you have a better knowledge of weapons than this man? Do you think that you can fight better than this man? Do you think that you're smarter than this man? Do you think you have a higher IQ? Do you think you can drive better than this man? In most cases, we see James Bond is an alpha male who smells very good. James Bond is the guy who goes home with the women. Then this is not about grabbing women and stuff like that and PUA stuff. This is not pickup artist stuff. But I'm just trying to make you guys understand that sometimes your understanding of a man is only relative to what you saw in your life. So if your dad was a fat slob and he was drunk every day and he stank of stale beer and he didn't take baths, then maybe you may think that a real man, it smells like a truck driver, or a real man smells like motor oil, right? That may be your perception. Women, same thing for you. If your dad was that guy, maybe you're framed as thinking that is the type of man that you want to marry, and that's good for you in some cases, right? But women that I know typically don't like guys who stink. Women that I know typically like guys who get their hair cut, right? Guys who groom themselves, guys who fucking take baths, right? Because if they want to do any type of fellatio or any type of kinky shit with you, if you're a stinky, funky guy, then you're unattractive. And it's about that. A lot of people have skewed perceptions about what a real man is. I was talking to a woman the other day, like I told you, I was at a social thing, and this particular lady didn't even smell the best. You know, she smelled a little sweaty, right? I'm not gonna name you, lady, but you were a little sweaty that day. So you weren't attractive. You thought you were. You thought you were the life of the party, right? But you weren't. People were talking about you, okay? You were sweaty. And we had that conversation, and you were talking about tough guys and all that stuff like that. And that's the funny thing, because see, you guys don't understand. A tough guy will break your fucking neck in a three-piece suit. James Bond will break your neck in a three-piece suit. Tough guys don't go around saying I'm a tough guy. See, Clark Kent minds himself at the bar. You guys keep seeing these plots in the movies. He's minding himself, his business, his own business at the bar, and then some guy is about to get the floor mopped up with themselves because they're going to open their mouths and they're going to step up because their perceptions of this guy are incorrect. Because he's able to dress well, because he drives a very nice car, because he's very classy, right? You think somehow that he's a soft guy, but he'll break your fucking neck. He may be a 5th degree black belt. You just don't know these things. This is why I laugh, because intelligence plays a part in this. I don't assume anything about anybody. I told you guys a while back about assuming things. So you go out to these spaces and these places, you tough guys, you know, with your tattoos and your buzz cuts, ready to do some damage. And a James Bond guy is sitting calmly over at the bar, waiting to do some business or something. They're quietly minding himself, keeping to himself. You know, a few ladies may be around, a few ladies may notice, and you may not like that. And so what you do is, because you have a low IQ level, your way of challenging this guy is not through the mind. I notice a lot of you big guys, you know, you know, and I'm talking about like football big. A lot of you football sized guys, you're very beefy and you're bonehead, you're meathead motherfuckers, because you will always reference someone's character based on their size. I've heard a few of you guys do that. Look at this guy, he's a chump. He's talking dumb because he's puny or something. That guy will fucking judo break your fucking jaw or something. He will fucking punch you in your jugular vein and fucking kill you instantly. Like you guys, or he may have extreme knowledge of guns and can put one together and take it apart in seconds. Like you guys just don't understand this stuff. You just do not judge books by their cover. A lot of you people do that. Women do that. You women will look at a man and you will say, oh, he's not a roughneck. He can't put it down. That man may put it down on you and blow your mind or something. Because you guys have a very general understanding of in your perceptions of how you view other people. What is your interpretation of what you believe a man should be? A man could be any of these things. A man could be anything. A man can work with his hands. A man can work with his mind. Some of the great minds and some of the greatest things in the world occurred up here. The very device that I'm talking to you guys on occurred up here, started here. It wasn't a hammer and nails thing. Now, we need those things too. We need both sets of people. But I just wanted y'all, I just really thought about that. I thought that was funny because I noticed that a lot of women, and women do this too in these spaces at these groups and stuff. You may have more than one woman around you, and maybe some woman doesn't like that lady, so she'll make comments, right? She'll question your sexuality or your masculinity because she's trying to insult you because she's jealous. And men do it for the very same reasons. You guys will see this guy, he has all the women and you're jealous. So what do you say? He's gay, he dresses well, so he must be a good. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? CEOs do not dress like bums, right? Movers and shakers dress very well and have a very fine taste and understanding of things, of higher quality things. That's why they're where they are. Crude people always seem to do that, you know. as if it's something wrong with having great taste or something. Like, I don't get that. Don't question people's sexuality. Don't assume because a man is a great dresser that he somehow is gay. You know? I just don't get that. I mean, you guys can take this any way. You can look at it any way. You can look at women and say, well, maybe some women dress a certain way, and you guys may say, well, she's masculine or something. Okay, you know, that there may be some aspects of masculinity that we can grab, and that's the point. That'll be a point to be made too. That, you know, men typically are men in some ways, that they're men. There are established things that make them men, and there are established things that make women women. You know, I'm out here at the river today, right? I was going to do some fishing today. Is that something that men do only? Is that a man's thing? And it could be for some of you people, like I said, who have this general relative sense of what your dads did, or if you didn't have a dad, whatever. So in a lot of cases, your upbringing does affect your perceptions of what you think something is. But I see this a lot. You know, there are women who like men who don't smell good. There are some of you women who date men who don't change their underwear for like 3 or 4 days, and that's cool with you. But I don't know any women like that. I don't. As a matter of fact, I would not even look at a woman who did the same thing. Right? That would be disgusting to me. Right? Some of you guys will touch anything. You know. See, dogs have, you know, there are certain types of quality pedigree of dogs, and then you have mutts, and a lot of people are like mutts, even if they didn't come from a grand background or something. Even if they didn't, they can work themselves up in life to be something and to think in their own minds that they are something. So this is kind of like a hybrid lecture, because partly I want you guys to understand the framing of how you're thinking, but I also want you to see on a general level how retarded and dumb a lot of you people are in the way you think. You're basic, and this is some kindergarten shit, but it shows your intelligence levels. You know, you're gonna say that someone is not as bright as you think you are because they're not as big as you are. You're just a big motherfucker. You just eat a lot. You know? Do you take bullets well? Right? Do you take kicks to your face well? Do you take chops to your jugular? Do you take those well? See, that's what I mean by meat-headed motherfuckers. Everything is relative to something you can do with your strength. And believe it or not, women are not necessarily, that's not just, if you guys don't know, the best women are not necessarily turned on by that. And so you'll be those guys saying that this guy's a punk or he's soft because, you know, he's a pretty boy and shit. What are you talking about, man? And what are you? That's the question that you need to ask yourselves. Go look in the mirror, guys. What are you? If you don't change your underwear every day, what are you, man? Huh? You think you should have that top quality girl? You don't change your underwear every day? Some of you guys are just, you're low level. You're low level. And you don't understand that people who are doing big things don't always have to show it to you or present themselves as such because they want to prove something to you. See, people who are confident and have things, they don't have to do that. They know who they are. They're constantly fighting with people who are lower than them, who want to take them off their perch or take something from them or downgrade them because they themselves are not anything. Simple social science. A lot of you people need to go pick up some sociology books and try to understand something about the mental condition and why it's important. Because you know what? It doesn't matter what you do in life. You could be anything. You can have any profession. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, judge, school teacher, police officer. You can be anything. But you're going to always be a person, and you're going to always deal with other people. You get that? You're going to always deal with other people. The way you guys perceive other people. I just had to, you know, I know I broke off into some other things and stuff, but they're all relative really to what I'm saying because it's still part of that behavioral framing. You know, I'm the mental guy. This is how I look at things. I think that's very funny, you know. Men, there are men out here who get pussy, and I didn't even want to be so vulgar about that, who have a lot of women. There are men out here who get women hand over fist, and they have to turn women down. They're not soft guys. They'll also break your neck, right? Breaking their homes, they'll put you down. They'll lay you down in there, and the police will have to come get you, right? Don't perceive people based on how clean they are and how fresh and you know, dapper they are. That's ridiculous, you know. And in turn, guys like us, the alpha guys who are clean, you know, the James Bond guys, we won't look at you filthy stank guys. We won't look at you. Well, we will look at you as what you are, because you will smell you. But my point is that for real though, I see that a lot. You guys don't understand that when you do that, you're just like women, right? You're making an assessment of someone's sexuality, and there isn't even room for that in whatever scenario that you're framing this. Because if you see them in a social place, they may talk to you or something, but because they're GQ, or there's something about their air of their confidence that you don't like, you decide to call them gay or something, or say something ridiculous about what you don't understand. Not that there's a problem with anything about someone's sexuality, but it's just the principle of it. I think it's very funny though. You know, if you're a woman who likes men who don't change their underwear every day, then I probably wouldn't be dating you. I probably wouldn't even be paying attention to you, right? If you're a guy who doesn't change your underwear every day, you're probably not going to be in my circle, and you're not rolling with me, right? It's simple as that. Understand that, and I'll say this real quick before I wrap this up, because I'm going to go do some fishing today. You know, some manly stuff. But I'll say this and I'll wrap this up. Is that your perception of what a man is, and I'm talking to men and women right now, right? The general public. Your perception of what a man is only relative to how you were raised, and if you had a father, if he was a drunk, if he was a crackhead, if he was a muscle guy, if he was a skinny guy, if he was a nerd, if he was whatever he was, if he was a pastor, your perception of a man is relative to that experience. And you should only make that call when you can and when you know for sure. Right? So if I'm a man and I'm at a bar and another man wants my phone number, but not for business or not for anything professional, but it's something that would be of attraction, then I can distinguish that guy is a gay guy. Otherwise, if he's a sharp dresser and he has about 3 or 4 women around him, then yeah, he probably has it going on. And when you guys don't have it going on, that's when you decide to say this stuff. And same thing about women, same thing. So really, the behavior is the same from my vantage point. You guys are all the same. Right? You manly men. I'm going to get back to fishing. I love bad behavior, but I love great days. Y'all take care.